but something felt very confusing to me.
Oh, she had a crush on him.
But I didn't know.
Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And she can probably bench press you.
So she, referring to our guest today, who is the powerlifting Asian champion of the 47 kilogram category.
Yeah.
So she really might be able to bench press you. And she's also a fairy. She identifies as a fairy. Hanouf AlTamimi is here. Hi.
I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you.
I'm so tired of people talking to me about lifting. I'm so ready for a
Well,
different
thank
topic.
God we're not talking about lifting today. If anyone thought
I mean,
we were.
here and there, it's fine.
Yeah. We could slip it in, just remind people that you can bench press.
You can bench press the couch.
Highly likely.
To remind me.
This is why I train to bench press couches.
I love that. All right. Well, the episode today, for those wondering, is about cross-cultural marriages.
Yeah.
And who better to talk about that than the newlywed? So she's a powerlifter and a newlywed.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It's been a year, but I like the
You're
congratulations
still a
for the
newlywed.
year.
No.
You know?
No. It's okay. You're still a newlywed in my eyes.
That's true.
I feel like you're a newlywed for the first 2 years. Is that just me?
No, I feel like the same. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I feel like when you pass the first year, it's like you're certified. You're like, okay, went through the ups and downs. Now we know we have a blueprint.
Yeah.
Okay, now just navigate the next, entirety of my life.
Yeah.
You know their cousins' names a year, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I kind of recognize the cousins
Yeah.
and everything.
But it's funny, because my husband's cousins' names are not like Ahmed and Abdullah. It's like Jean Noel. It's actually his cousins.
Shout out.
Jean Noel.
Jean
Shout out
Noel.
to subscribe.
It's really cool. I was like, didn't grow up with a cousin with that name.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know, Hanouf is someone who married outside her culture.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about
Okay.
your who's bonded?
So I will walk you through it. So just like a background kind of about myself in terms of who I am as a person outside of like lifting or what I do for work or family, like who you are as a human being. I've always been very, I wouldn't say rebellious is the word. I would say like, it's just not norm. Like I don't conform to the norm. Not that it's a bad thing. I always felt left out because I just didn't identify with what everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm fairy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
No, like I always I grew up wanting to do everything alone. I was so immersed in my books. I was so immersed in like just this life of imagination and what's going on with the world. And I didn't want to just limit myself to just here.
yeah.
So fast forward, I made a lot of friends in school that weren't necessarily Kuwaiti. So like I had Kuwaiti friends, I have half Kuwaiti friends, I have non-Kuwaiti friends. And so I really identified with being like a citizen of the world.
I really thought she was going to say I made a lot of mythological friends, like centaurs and unicorns.
fairy.
Also, yes. Okay, like a lot of the Greek gods became my friends for a while.
Zeus is on like speed dial.
Yeah, like I'd look for books like that, Best. Actually, yeah, the Disney princesses were my friends too. Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls.
So you
were
had an
really my
imagination.
friends.
I love that.
Yeah. I grew up with a whole lot of creativity up here.
Yeah.
So I was always in like my la la land. My mom
Yeah.
was like, every time I take you to a family gathering, everyone's looking at you and they're like, she's always somewhere else. Like she's always in her book land. Like she's not playing with the other kids. So in school, I love to do sports, Scrabble, whatever extracurriculars that I had. Were just all over the place. So I just basically, I would sum it up by saying I was always curious about the world, the whole world.
I love that.
The real world, the fictional world. I didn't want to see things too realistically. So graduated, went to university here in Kuwait, AUK.
Shout out UK.
Shout out AUK. And then I decided to do my master's at NYU. So when I moved to New York, and Zainab remembers this well, it really changed how I saw everything in the world. Because like you moved to literally one of the most cosmopolitan cities.
It's our favorite city.
It is our favorite city.
Yeah.
And you get on the subway and you have all kinds of people from all walks of life. So I loved it. It was like my imagination in real time.
Yeah.
So women that look like fairies, you know, and then there's like geishas, everything.
Yeah.
So I remember coming back to Kuwait and telling my parents, so statistically speaking in my head, you can't, limit me to just Kuwait. You can't expect me to just, choose an option from Kuwait. And I really went into this and this is just me. I'm not saying this to say everyone should think this way.
Yeah.
This is me. But I remember telling my mom and dad, hey, statistically speaking, if there's, 4 million Kuwaitis or citizens, residents in Kuwait, 1.5 million are Kuwaiti. So then more women than men. And I go into this frenzy and I'm like, okay, take away the married men, the children, the teenagers. And I come down to there's 10 guys.
And half of them, daddy's boys that take daddy's money. So it's literally 5 guys.
So then and those 5 guys, let's say, I'd look at my parents and be like, their mothers are gonna marry them off. So what are my chances? I just
the pool is not giving.
Yeah.
It's giving nothing. It's a kiddie pool.
So
It's a bath.
It's a splash.
Yeah.
It's
a puddle in the bathroom.
So I remember telling my parents, and my mom was like, okay, maybe Khaliji. She looked at me, she's like,
Saudi is a stop away.
Yeah, literally. And she was like, okay. My dad did this really dramatic thing where he got off of the table at lunch and he's like, Ana benati يقدرون ياخذون اللي يبونه.
Shout out dad, progressive.
I love that.
Talama, it's a good guy and fits the category of what gives you a good life and stuff. Why not? So I test the waters every now and then. I'd be like, British guy, this guy, that. Not that I cared about the nationality, but it's I just wanted to see,
what would they say no to?
Options.
Are they just saying yes to imashun wiyai, or are they saying yes because they actually
you're
yes?
testing the water?
And then around so I'm 30 now. When I was 27, I want to say, or 28, I accepted. I was like, you know what? Maybe this won't happen. Getting married or not. I didn't want to also limit myself to the thought of marriage.
Yeah.
And feel pressured and because Arab moms, not moms in my case necessarily, but the grandmothers and the aunties and
the randoms. We talk about it all the time. These random women that are like, okay, when are you getting married? Okay, who are you?
Yeah.
لا فرحي وياي أنا فرحانة.
They can't imagine that you're in your 30s or you're almost 30 and you're happily single.
Yeah.
That does not go.
No, and it's I'm the type of person that I've worked with Zainab for years, different places, different spaces. And I've always been a go-getter, independent, makes my own money and doesn't depend on my family. If they give here and there, I'm grateful for that privilege. But I would literally go to New York for a month in the summer and it's on me, I'm treating myself. So I never felt the need to, rush to get married or anything because I was enjoying my life. I lift, I do what I love. I kind of pushed the what's the word? I pushed it a lot, not a little with my family because they said don't compete. And I was like, okay, next day competes, don't do this. Okay, books the plane ticket. So they saw how hard-headed I was and how stubborn I was and how I just wanted to be curious about the world. And so they eventually kind of accepted it and they never fought me.
Are you a Leo?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm a Scorpio moon. Yeah, so I relate to that a lot. Where you're like, I'm curious, and you want to experience different things, and the idea of being limited. Also, maybe that's because we're Saggy sons. So that idea of being limited.
Jill.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but why do you get to predetermine that these are my only options?
Yeah.
We have the entire world. Like I can explore and.
What if the person I'm meant to end up with is like in Australia? How am I supposed to know?
Honestly, I feel lucky in that sense because I can't actually relate to any of this because my mom is, like she's not Kuwaiti, like she's Turkish Egyptian, raised in Paris, and then my dad,
Worldly.
yeah, very. So she's very mixed. Her family's very mixed. And my dad was a Kuwaiti man that lived for the most part in like the UK. So it's like there was never this idea of, oh, you have to marry Arab. So I feel like I actually can't imagine the stress of being Kuwaiti thinking I only can marry a Kuwaiti person. Bearing in mind that in Kuwait, marriage is not just marry a Kuwaiti person. You have to marry someone
The whole family.
Yeah, not just the whole family. Like traditionally, you have to marry like same sect, like in Islam. So it's like Sunni, Shia, and then within that, there are also like other standards, like different certain families, status, whatever. So it's just very complicated.
It's certain last names you can't marry.
Yeah.
What?
No, like it was interesting because I remember growing up and having certain female family members tell me like, so you're not allowed to marry this and this and this. Like there was a list.
Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of pushed towards like, okay, I need to tick some boxes every time I meet someone or I like someone, God forbid. So I didn't like that. Not that I was like quick to rush into meeting people or whatnot, but it's just like it gave me a sense of panic and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I accepted. I was like, you know what? I want to be the cool single aunt that travels the world, lifts heavy weights. And because my brother got married 2 years before me. And
is he bigger or younger?
Younger. Okay. So I'm the eldest. And I'm the eldest granddaughter. So like the pressure is on.
Yeah.
Best, I've always been very strong-minded. So every time they say something, كله يقولون بالبيت تاكلنا لا تكلمونها تاكلنا. Like her personality is too strong. So, and because of that, I also got told like, oh, it's gonna be very hard to marry you to someone, like not just anyone.
We were literally talking about this the other day where
it's interesting how people say that.
Independent, self-sufficient, because I think you being the eldest daughter and granddaughter, and I think is there a gap between you and your brother is the second, right?
My brother's the second. He's 2 years younger. And then my younger brother and younger sister are like 11 and 13 year gap.
So you had to learn to be like very independent.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that is characterized as like, you're difficult, you're tough, you're not going to find a man. But it's like, not because I'm like too masculine. No, it's because he is not man enough, or like you,
or like it's easier to marry a woman that can be controlled.
Yeah,
I get that. Or like a woman that's more easygoing, not necessarily control the woman. But some women are just, mashallah alayhum, just like very kind, very easygoing. With me, it's like I'm opinionated. I like things to be a certain way most of the time. Yeah. So yeah, it is harder. But guess what? Like, you don't get a diamond just by like searching the rubble for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in saying that, there's nothing wrong with a woman who's more subdued and all that, but also, why are we glorifying one over the other? How about like there's space for everyone?
Exactly.
There's space for both. That's the thing. Like I have friends who are potentially like the quietest, calmest, most
easygoing.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, which I love. I look at her, I'm like, you're such an angel. I love you. My mom's the same way. And for the most part, I grew up thinking like, why am I not like my mom? Like she's so amazing. She's so kind. She's so soft. And me, I'm like the girl that plays football and like scabs her knee and there's blood dripping. I'm like, let's keep going. Like, and then I think like,
you're competitive. Right?
Yeah, but why? Like sometimes you ask yourself growing up, like, why? And then one day I accepted it. I was like, no, why? This is me. And I remember in university, some girls, like that's the age where everyone's like trying to look perfect, trying to like push the agenda of marriage. And one of the girls looked at me and she was like, I showed up in like joggers and like a long sleeve white shirt. My hair's in a bun, like a messy bun. And I had my glasses on, no makeup. And she looked at me and she was like, don't you want to get married? And I looked at her, I'm like, why? Because like if someone marries me, they're not going to see this. Like they're going to see this.
Yeah.
So I just like, there were things that really challenged me about some people here. Like there's some amazing human beings. There's some amazing guys and girls here. But I just didn't want to be limited.
Yeah.
So fast forward to a year and a few months ago, I actually, even prior to that, I ended up...
Spill the tea.
Exclusive.
I ended up meeting my now husband, Anthony. He
Name
was
drop.
training... Name drop, Anthony
In
Graziani.
case you don't follow Hanouf,
Mrs. Graziani. AlTamimi. You know, like she keeps both
Wait,
names.
did you hyphenate?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So
I just
you're-
hyphenate in my head, you know? Like,
So then are you still AlTamimi or are you
I'm still
Graziani?
AlTamimi.
Okay.
yeah. Which technically that's a good question because I can.
Yeah.
In France.
You can make your life easy if you travel.
No, actually, that's an interesting topic. So before I tell you the story, it is really cool to marry someone outside of your culture because there's some weird perks that come up. Like, you know, when you go to Europe, you don't stand in line. You're with a European person, you know? When they go to Dubai with you, they don't stand in line. You're Arab.
Yeah.
So cool.
I love
So efficient. You know, it's like a loophole.
See, guys, there are so
Guys?
many advantages.
No one tells you these things,
Yes.
do they? They tell you the negative.
Secretly gets married to Anthony because of that, you know?
Imagine. Sorry, Anthony, I just married you for the
For the traveling.
the travel.
perks.
No, but so like going back to how we met. So he was actually coaching a then friend of mine, and
So he's a coach.
he's a coach.
fitness coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like he coaches a lot of athletes in powerlifting, whether locally or internationally, like in Europe or otherwise. And so I remember I met him and I was like, hi, you know, like just like I would meet anyone, like didn't think anything of it.
Were you looking for a personal train? Like how? Like
No.
give me the full background information.
So basically,
Because I know nothing. I know she's your friend, but I
she's
actually
like,
know
tell
absolutely
me
nothing.
every single detail. Don't leave anything out.
I love being specific.
The
I'm
story.
so nosy. Yeah, I love story time. I love the tea. I want to picture it right now.
So basically, I would train in powerlifting. I had a coach. She was Canadian, and like online. And so I would just train around this person that was my friend at the time, and he was coaching her. So I'd see him like every Friday.
Do you think he was cute?
Yeah, but also like he's gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. He gives off intimidation when you first meet him.
Okay.
It's not fair because Zainab met him at the Milcha, so he didn't look very intimidating.
He was intimidated.
He was
by all the
intimidated.
women around him because we were like, let's take a picture. And everybody was just like looking at him.
And he's like, "Is this normal?"
He was like the only guy
poor
around
French
Arab
man.
women.
Yeah.
This is probably the most Arab woman he's ever seen in his life.
No, like the funny thing is, like he's the most Arab French guy without having any Arab roots.
No, listen, this is completely normal. Let me tell you something. Arab people and French people, we need to break the stigma, guys. Let me tell you, we are all so similar. We really are similar.
Yeah. No, it's like especially because he's from Corsica.
No, they're basically Arab.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say.
Do you know how angry they get? Corsican women, Arab women.
I love
like
that she knows a
this,
lot about
really.
Corsica.
Yeah, because I'm from France. So it's like Corsica's like the destination spot for everyone. We went to that was my senior school trip. That was the first time I went.
Yeah, apparently it's beautiful. I've only seen photos.
Oh, you haven't been yet?
You have
I'm
to go
supposed
swim
to go
there.
this summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
my mother-in-law, fingers crossed. My mother-in-law actually like sends me photos of like where she lives. And I'm like, this is paradise. Can we move there?
Ajaccio?
Not Ajaccio.
Okay.
Very embarrassing.
Ajaccio's like the spot to
Come on
be.
Ajaccio is where Napoleon's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Corsicans are like, no, he's not from here. You know, that's how angry Corsicans are.
Corsicans are so angry because Corsica used to be Italy. They kept that temperament. They're not even French. Corsicans are Corsicans.
It's interesting because like they identify as Corsicans.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then like apparently according to Anthony, like all of the signs you'd know better like all the signs on the street are like French and Italian. So it's like a mix.
That's insane.
Which is, yeah. And then like they're this tiny island. Imagine just like living freely, loving life. And then like, people just want to take you over. Like, no, it's France. No, it's Italy. And they're like, I just want to exist without anyone taking over my country.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah. So he's from Corsica.
Okay.
And
that explains the intimidation. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, he
like
can
that
be,
changes it.
he can be intimidating. And he's like, I remember when I met him, he's very good at what he does, like in terms of like
Fitness.
especially like general fitness, body composition, like or recomposition, and then especially powerlifting. So like, and I love the sport. I was doing it for years before I met him, and I would be intimidated every Friday if I'm squatting and he's there, because I'm like, what if I'm doing this wrong? When he's not even my coach.
Didn't you break records before you met him?
Yeah, but they were like national records. Like,
She's like,
no one is competing.
He's cute.
I know. I'm already mad as her friend. I'm like, he should be intimidated by you.
No,
not the
but
other-
interestingly enough, he was actually like, he was confused. Like, I remember like he would be like standoffish, and I was like, do I look mean? I don't.
He's
look
just
mean.
Corsican.
Yeah. Found that out
now
later.
you know. Yeah.
But at the time, like later on, I found out from him that he was like, you can't be this nice. Something has to give. Like, he was confused that I was actually like really nice. So he had to warm up to me slowly. And so we'd like, just like, it was like playground banter. Like he would push my buttons and I'd be like, stop it. Like every Friday he'd say something. And it's like, best chidi. We annoy each other, mainly him annoying me. And then he'd give me lectures, like out of nowhere, like here and there, every couple of weeks, sees me in the gym. He's like, you don't listen to your coach. You don't like, and I'm like, who is this man? And why is he giving me lectures? Why do you care? Why do you care if I don't listen to my coach? You're not my coach.
Up and we're like, fight me.
No, I started crying.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would apologize. Because I'd be like, to be fair, I was in a very sensitive spot in my life at the time. I was just not in the best mindset. So anyone that would have said something, like you could have been like, your eyelash fell, I'd be like, like I was not okay. So he'd apologize. He's like, I didn't mean to like upset you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just in a weird state of mind. So we actually went to Dubai. He was coaching and like handling my friend at the time's competition, like her in the competition. And so we went as a group, we had dinner, and he'd like, like playfully, like, I wouldn't say flirt, but he was always very sweet. He would compliment me. He would say nice things.
So he had a crush on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he would scold her.
Yeah.
It's because he has
that
a crush on her.
playground thing.
It's because he's secretly in love with you.
You're confused.
No, on God, it's because he's secretly in love with her.
Like, I tell him this, like, he's not going to be shocked. Because I tell him this, I'm like, you always liked me. Like Miss Congeniality, and she's like, you love me. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
So, because I never understood why this person kept giving me lectures, and it's like, I don't even know you. Like, stop.
It's telling you, French and Arab, same thing. If he likes you, he like wants to like put his opinion on you. And he's like, shut up, I'm a strong, independent woman.
One day we were hanging out like as a group, like the person he was coaching, a couple of friends, like all of that, and he starts giving me a lecture about like my coach and who I listen to and stuff, and I was like, I was so not there for it that I was like, you're right, and then I fell asleep. I took a stress nap. Because I didn't want to deal with it. And I was like, at that point, I also had like a couple of people in my ear telling me like, oh, like he's just, trying to do this, trying to get too close to you, trying to do this or that.
Yeah.
And so some people kind of got into my head and it allowed me to move away from him.
They were jealous.
I'm guessing, like something was just, it wasn't meant to happen at that time.
Yeah.
So I distanced myself from a lot of people, not just Anthony, like, and I wasn't even that close to him. So he kind of lost trust in me, which I don't blame him for, because like, when someone acts weird around you, you're like, what's wrong with them? So then months later, like I travel for the summer, I come back, I'm like refreshed, I have a better mindset. Like I was, like working through it for months in therapy and everything. And I got stronger mentally and came back. And I would see him in the gym and I'd be like, you know what? I want to win him over as a friend. Like, I know I screwed up with a lot of people. He's one of them in terms of like me being like up and down and moody. Like, I don't like people doing that to me.
Shout out self-awareness.
Yeah.
We love a self-aware
Accountability.
queen. Yes, accountability.
Develop Scorpio queen.
Yeah, we love that.
Worked really hard to get here. So there was a competition in September 2022 and I was going to support one of the girls and he was going to coach a couple of the guys. And so he was like, that's when I reached out to him. I was like, hey, like I'm coming through, like, do you guys want to do something? Do you guys want to get dinner? You know, like I'm all for like, let's all hang out, like just generally. And again, I wanted to win over the people that I kind of pushed away. So he was like, yeah, like you can come over and like it's me, Hussein Moussaoui, love you. And he was competing at the time. So he's like, oh, I'm cooking dinner for us. So you can come through. I also brought one of my really good guy friends at the time because I actually didn't trust myself around Anthony in terms of like, I don't know, like something, I can't explain it, but something felt very confusing to me.
Oh, she had a crush on him.
But I didn't know. I just knew that it was...
That annoys me.
Yeah. And
you don't know.
You know when you're a kid and like someone has a crush on you? You can...
And then you go cooties.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's,
it's like, ew, I hate you.
I love him. No, I was like, I think around that time is like when God put the love in me. But like I was confused. I was just like...
In denial. She was in denial.
Yeah. So we all had dinner. Like he made us carbonara, and key to my heart is food.
Oh,
I think he realized that, and then he pushed it. You know, like I'll explain that later. But it's like he cooked us all carbonara, and then he told me to download CoStar.
Wow. Wait, what? He told you to download CoStar?
Yeah, I didn't know CoStar existed.
What's his sign?
Gemini.
Oh! That's the spiciest thing you've said.
That's correct. A Scorpio and a Gemini?
Oh.
Stop.
You know, funnily enough, all the Gemini men I know, all my friends, I love them, which is so confusing.
Do you have Gemini in your
they're
chart
great.
or air signs?
No, water. Mainly water.
All water?
A lot of water.
What's your rising?
Aquarius.
Air.
I think, no.
Aquarius is air.
Down opens CoStar. You know, since
I mean,
I feel like she has some Pisces, like the dreamy.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have Pisces.
I wouldn't be shocked if her moon was in Pisces.
I think
because she has her own world. Maybe a rising was an Aquarius.
Okay, so ascendant is Aquarius.
Okay,
There you go. That's why.
That's your rising.
Moon is Pisces.
Oh! So Aquarius is an air sign and Gemini is an air sign. So I think that's why you guys are fine. Yeah.
Also, no, listen, Geminis are great if they're developed.
Wait, I'll tell you what he is.
Oh my God.
Expose him. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
He's so vulnerable right now.
Interestingly
I
enough,
need to watch this episode. It's not for you. It's for the girls.
it's for the girls or guys like Anthony. Apparently, his rising is Cancer.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
you guys have a nice blend of air and water.
And his what?
Moon.
Yeah, where's the moon? I was like, his moon is in Scorpio.
Oh my God.
Oh,
And you're
dark. Yeah.
What a blend.
Yeah.
That's why you guys get along because you have a lot of water and air placement. Yeah.
No, it's really interesting because like after that competition, it also got kind of odd again. Like there was a lot of mixed emotions and mixed signs and people interfering.
No, wait, I'm so involved. Like I just want to say,
She's like, I need to know the full story.
This is
I have so many questions for you.
This is a romance novel, and I'm loving every moment of it.
I like have to pinch myself sometimes because like it is like some days I look at him, I'm like, is he a figment of my imagination?
No, but honestly, if anybody deserves it, it's you.
Say no.
Don't cry. Please don't cry. No, truly, I'm so happy to see her.
I love that you said that to
Oh
her.
my gosh,
I'm like taking a second.
too many air or water.
There's
signs.
so much going on here.
Cancer moon, I will cry.
Why do you think we get along? Scorpio moon, Cancer rising, and she's
All the emotions. Yeah.
Best of packaging, Sagittarius. So we're like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
But then on the inside, we're crying
love
all
that.
the time.
You know, like I get along with Sagittarius so well.
We're the best sign.
My mom.
I just love us.
Yeah, I know.
Your mom's Sag?
Yeah.
My mom's Aquarius.
My dad's Aquarius.
Ooh, Aquarius
Sag and
dad.
Aquarius are perfect match.
That is such a sexy couple.
It's really interesting because I look at my mom like, how do you handle my dad? I don't like Aquarius. You know, like, but men. Mainly Aquarius men. Aquarius women that I know are actually like chill.
Aquarius women, I think, are dreamers.
Yeah.
They're big dreamers.
Yeah.
Aquarius men, I think, are delusional.
They're all delusional. They're so much fun though.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
but
They
they're
can be, but then they
Yeah.
go into this realm of like, I'm not fun anymore. It's only like, it's like, wait.
And apparently Aquarius, I don't know if it's women as well, but basically everybody thinks they're their best friend, but they don't see it like that. Their friend circle is so tight, but they make everyone feel like they're their best
My
friend.
dad.
Yeah.
My dad does that. He's like, everyone's like, wow, your dad's amazing. My dad comes home. He's like, who?
He's like, I hate everyone.
I'm like, you just made my friend you made them feel like you're their dad. He's like, I don't remember who it is. Like, it's not normal.
Is he an Aquarius or does he just have amnesia?
Maybe both. Love him. But yeah, so kind of came back to Kuwait, reality. Realized he was still kind of iffy about me. We're talking about Anthony.
Not your dad.
My dad, like imagine my dad's iffy about me. This one.
I'm not sure about her.
Should I keep her?
So he looks at me and he's like, whenever he sees me, he's like, hello. Like, and I'm like, okay, still gotta win this one over, and because he's a funny guy as well. Like when he opens up, he's actually loving, funny, like the funniest guy. Such a gentle sweetheart, but he just looks very intimidating.
Did
and
you
very
get
angry.
to see that with his friends before you guys became friends?
I did, and it's like I saw a glimpse of it, and I knew because like even after we like got engaged, got married, all that, I told him I knew you were a teddy bear. I always knew, because like he'd make it seem like he's like,
Yeah.
but I knew like deep down there was like this really soft heart, because the way he treats his athletes, the way he treats his friends, he cooks for everyone, he takes care of everyone. So I was like, there's no way in the world that this person is just like, like not really good on the inside and mushy.
I feel like the silent brooding ones are always the teddy bears.
Yeah.
You can see it through their actions.
It's a very
not their
Scorpio
words.
moon thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, like, I'd see him in the gym every week. And then like one day I remember I dyed my hair because I was blonde for like the longest time. Like lots of highlights and stuff. And I showed up to the gym with like dark brown hair. And in an effort to like win him back as a friend, I stood by the door and I was like, hi, like the sliding door opens up and he looks at me and he's like carrying his bags and stuff. And he's like, better. And he's like angry. I'm like, okay, if it's better, why are you upset? Like,
Why are you mad?
very playground and like,
Also, the choice of word better.
like,
It's so cute.
I know. Deep down, it's cute. Like you're like, I don't get it, but it's cute.
Yeah.
So he'd always like there's always like this playfulness. Like we joke around, and then life happens. Like it's really interesting because at the time, the person he was training called me up. She told me, hey, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon to train with him because people were skeptical about his training methods, and because he could make people get stronger, but he has an eye for it. He's skilled. And I say that not because he's my husband, not because he's my coach, but genuinely, like I saw it from the start, but I didn't want to switch coaches every few months. I wanted to give it enough time. And so I remember she called me beginning of October. She's like, listen, everyone's gonna, jump ship, and she mentioned names of people that, hurt me. So it kind of like pushed my buttons, She's like, oh, like if you miss the train, you might not get the chance to train with him. So I remember texting him. I was like, hey, when you have a second, can I call you? I'd like to talk to you. And mind you, he's seen me train here and there. He watches me on Instagram and he's seen me in person. And so like, I know he has an idea and who I used to train with in terms of coaches. So he's like, okay, I finish work at 7. I'll give you a call. It was actually funny. Like he actually texted me. He's like, why? So he ended up saying, like what's it about? And I was like, can I give you a call? He's like, are you pregnant? Like it was a playful joke.
Was that a joke?
It was a joke, and I was like, what? Why? What? And I recall writing. I'm like, first of all, what?
Why would I call you?
Yeah, and that's what I wrote. And then he was like, I don't know. Maybe you need my help to like, like. It was like the weirdest
I
joke.
have a question. I don't want to stereotype, but your husband is Corsican.
I don't want to stereotype.
Hear me out.
Like it was a funny like.
Is he in the mafia?
No, but he told me there are mafias.
Oh my god, yeah. Everyone from Corsica. So okay, I'm from France. I'm from Paris, right? In a Parisian person's head, when we meet Corsicans, we're like, they're from the mafia, all of them.
But they act like they're from mafias. That's the thing, like,
Well, they are.
No, like he told me how like he's like, when people bother you in Kuwait, like if you slap someone or you hurt someone, like you have to pay 5,000 KD or whatever. So he's like, in Paris or in Corsica, like he's like, there's gypsy people, there's mafia people, like people will like absolutely destroy you, and the police will be like, what?
They didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're scared of Corsica?
Babe, it's not that they're scared. There's nothing they can do to stop them. You cannot stop the gypsies, and you cannot stop the Corsicans.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Wow.
Like, they're my people. I love it. Violence. Yeah. He woke up and chose violence. So
You would marry that.
Yeah, that
with your
it makes a lot
weightlifting,
of
with your
sense.
strength, with what I'm hearing, there was nothing else.
Yeah, no.
She had to marry a Corsican.
It was either going to be a Corsican or an Italian New Yorker. That's also in the mafia.
A New Yorker.
Yeah. And now, like, there's the whole Italian mob.
Mob wife aesthetic.
Mob wife.
Oh, perfect time.
Yeah.
I love it.
You need to get into it.
I know, but, like, would I be, like...
Mob fairy?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. No, I was
my
like,
God.
would like Italian women be upset with me? That's my thought process.
Are you like appropriating?
Yeah, am I appropriating their
She
culture?
has good enough hair and eyebrows. Guys, if you're listening, you're missing out on the hair and the eyebrows. The Italians, I think, would take you in.
Guys. No, what's funny is when I was living in New York, my makeup was kind of different. Like, it was very Jersey girl.
Of course.
So a lot of New Yorkers were like, are you from Jersey? And I'm like, no. Are you Hispanic? No. It was never, are you Arab?
Do you know in New York, people speak to me in Spanish?
Yeah.
And I would just be like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
like,
me
All
too.
of us pass as
Yeah.
Hispanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Arab woman's like,
Latinas.
Colombia.
we're all actually Colombians
Yeah.
and Cubans over
Yeah.
there.
Maybe we're cousins. We're probably cousins.
No, I remember Anthony telling me, he's like, you know who you remind me of? I'm like, who? She's not, is she Hispanic? He was like, Nicole Scherzinger. I'm like,
Ooh.
what? It's just, I guess, the long dark hair, the
Yeah.
tan
I'm just
skin.
trying to, I see it. I'm just trying to think, where is she from?
Yeah, where is
Isn't
she?
she?
Filipino?
No. Pacific Islander.
Pacific
I thought.
Islands or
Oh,
something,
she's
right?
Pacific
Yeah.
Islander.
Yeah.
But I went so far, I was like, she Filipina.
No, like my mom growing up would be like, you look like Selma Hayek. Like the other day, like my interview
Yes.
dropped. She's like, Selma Hayek. I'm like, Mama, drop it. Call her up. I'm like, hello, Selma. She's like, yes, Ana Selma Hayek. I'm like, Mama.
Aww.
But also Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek married a French man.
Exactly.
It worked. A billionaire.
It worked.
Yeah. Good job, Selma.
It's actually like, I will kind of chime in with something super random. But my mom, growing up, would listen to a lot of French music. And she would always say, like, in another world, I would have married a French guy.
Her
She
mom
manifested
manifested
it.
it.
So my mom actually said that to my Milcha planner. She was like, I always knew Hanouf was destined for something different in life.
French.
And she's like, and the French part, I'm pretty sure I manifested that.
Yeah.
Like my mom fully said that, and I was like, I'm not gonna take this away from you because I feel like you did.
Yeah.
Because like it's very strange how I grew up with that kind of like the music, the feels, like how my mom loved it, and it happened.
So when
I
did you
actually
guys
love that. Wait, so wait,
fall
well,
in
let's
love?
go back to the
Yeah.
story here.
Yeah. So okay. So
We're involved.
basically, I ended up telling him, I want to talk to you, called me up, and he's a very serious person when it comes to his craft. So as much as we joke, when it came to talking to him about switching to coaching with him, I was 2 months out from the Asian Championship in 2022, and I was signed up as a 57 kilo lifter, but I was like projected 16th. I was going, to say I'm going to compete internationally. So he ends up telling me, he's like, why are you switching? And I was like, me being diplomatic, I'm like, I've worked with great coaches, but I just feel like it's time to try something new. He's like, if they are great, why are you talking to me? And I'm like, huh? He's like, cut the crap. And like, it's the honesty.
Yeah.
Like he's so transparent and real and raw, so I was like, whoa, like no one has put me in my
cut
place.
To the chase.
Yeah.
And I, like, no one has ever done that to me. Like we grew up in a culture that's like more like
Sugarcoat
hide
everything.
things, sugarcoat things. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, yeah, I don't see numbers. I don't see changes. So I'd love to switch to, grow as a lifter. He ends up telling me, okay, we need to sit down and discuss this further, but I need a team player, and I'm just like, I'm so not upset, but it's like, I'm like, he doesn't think I'm a team player? I'm like the sweetest girl in the gym. Like I was like, okay, fine. And I sit with him and we went to, what's it called? We went to a pizza place. We discussed switching, and it was kind of like, it was the first time we were ever one-on-one without our friends. So it was weird, like I've never sat down with this human being before, one-on-one. And so we discussed it, and we had a really intense heart-to-heart just about like training, life, and I was open and honest with him about why I was like on and off that year, like some anxiety and depression that came through, like what I was going through with friends or people in my life. And he opened up to me. He's like, I understand because I went through ABC in my life. And then he's like, okay, so my condition is you drop out of the competition. And I remember thinking, I worked 10 months for this, and this person just tells me to like drop it. But then I realized, okay, I'm asking for his guidance as a coach. And if that's what he sees is right, I'm invested. And he was like, you don't even compete in March, you compete next September.
Wow.
And
So
it's
like a whole year later.
A year and a half.
Oh my God.
And I sit there and I'm like, he has a vision, I need to trust it. And I don't know what, me being stubborn, I could have just been like, no, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I asked why, but then I was like, no, I'm not going to ask why. I literally am coming to this person for what they know best. Why am I questioning it? Because people are going to say, why aren't you competing? Mm-hmm. Screw people. Like sometimes you need to take a step back to catapult forward. So I trusted him. A weekend, so like he says, we can start from like tomorrow. And I get excited and I tell, like the girls that he coaches and stuff. And I stop with my other coach. And then that's when everything started. We start talking more. Like it started with stickers on WhatsApp. Like we'd send each other like funny stickers. It was the humor. So then we'd talk more. We'd, like open up more. Like, and then he did another one of those lectures. Like I called him to like talk to him, like have a conversation, like just get to know each other more. Like even if it's just as a coach. And he gave me a lecture, and I remember taking a stress nap because I was like, that's not okay. And I like fall asleep.
I love these stress naps.
Listen,
yeah.
Napping,
everyone that knows me knows I stress nap. So then I wake up from my stress nap. I give him a call. I'm like, hey, that wasn't okay. You don't get to talk to me and, lecture me, like know where you stand on certain matters. I didn't ask for your opinion. So unless I do, he's like, no, but you opened up this subject. So then I'm like, yeah, so did you. Did I give you my opinion on your life and how you should, like, I was really strong. So he's like, you are not bargaining yourself. And I was like, why does this have to always be a thing with you? But it was funny, like, because I started laughing and like, he saw that side of me that could be strong. He brought that side out. And I loved that. Like, not just like physical strength, but also like the mental strength. And then
literally a mob couple.
gradually it became like, basically like he wanted to take me out for dinner for my birthday. And we went out, we had like steaks and stuff. And I remember saying like, listen, I'm not young. I have a family that's very supportive in me staying single or getting married, but like they trust that I know how to make the right choices. And I don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
It's either I get, super serious with someone, or I want to be alone. I love my alone time. So you have to be such a big bonus for me to like not be with me. So, or not be with me all the time.
Preach.
So he ends up saying like straight up, like this is like 2 weeks after I switched to him as a coach. And he was like, I know a lot of people in Kuwait, people could walk in right now. I am fully committed. And I was like, whoa, I find out with time, like the weeks leading after that, like that he's a very traditional human being. He is one of those people. It's like village people. Corsicans are very village-like, tribal. So just like us. And so he grew up with loving grandparents who raised him. Like his mom was there, his dad was on and off in his life, but his grandparents did a lot of, one-on-one with him, taught him a lot of things, very similar to my mom's upbringing. So
is he the eldest in his?
Yeah, he has a sister from his mom and dad, and then he has a sister from his dad, who's currently like I think 8 years old.
Is he also eldest grandchild?
I don't think he is, no.
Oh, okay.
But he was the favorite. He was always the favorite.
Okay.
So he was very close with his grandmother, and she basically taught him that love is something very deep. Like he saw it growing up, and he wanted that. He wanted the love that, like he saw through his grandparents. Anyways, so he, very traditional, very loving, made me breakfast most mornings. Like he'd drop off breakfast, he'd make me my lunch. Like he was just very loving.
Yeah.
And
he fed you.
He fed me.
He understood the assignment.
Yeah, he gets it.
He fed me. So aside from that, it was a lot of like balancing like the coach athlete and like being with this person or getting to know this person. It was interesting, but like both our hearts knew. And I told my mom, like my mom knew from the start. I was like, I think this may be serious. I'm not sure. And we both knew, like a month and a half in, it was like khalas, like we love each other. We admitted that to each other. And he was like, why are we gonna wait? Like, what are we waiting for? Like, let's take this to the next level. Let's get married. So I tell my mom's like, if you both know, there's no reason to wait. And she's like, we were traveling to Dubai as like a group to see the Asian Championships, even though I wasn't competing, but he had some people competing, girls and guys. And that's when my mom told my dad. And she was like, I can't wait for you to come back. So I had to tell your dad. And so this is where like the whole social norms, cultural side comes in. I come from a traditional family. Like they're not super open-minded. They are just accepting that everyone's different. Like I have 3 siblings that we're nothing like each other. We're 4 kids that are nothing like each other. Everyone's just their own person. And I love that about us because it's like my mom and dad really worked hard to just let us be. They instilled what they could in terms of values, in terms of like respect and all of that. But I have a brother that's like very traditional, like wanted to marry Kuwaiti, wanted to go like the traditional route. And then there's me, the person that travels like 3/4 of the year and it's like, oh, I want to go to New York for a month. I'm not going to call anyone. Bye. So they knew how to deal with me. And they knew that why limit me? Like, why limit your kid? If your kid has big dreams, big hopes, like hold their hand, try to understand it.
I mean, there is this like traditional thing where it's like, okay, I mean, not only are we expected to marry, like within the culture, you're expected to marry Kuwaiti because as a Kuwaiti woman, also like you don't get the benefits. So for example, like for those of you who don't know, like you can't pass on the nationality. You can't get a lot of like the benefits, like the rent, like the help with the rent and all of that. Like the money is usually given to the husband. So that's why it's like preferable to marry a Kuwaiti. Or like if you're gonna branch out, Khaliji, like Saudi, Bahraini, whatever. And that's also like back in the day, it used to be a bit like controversial as well.
I think they, from a tribal point of view, they want to keep a lineage, you know, of some sort.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like where you have to even marry within like a sub category as well.
Yeah, no, and it's like, for me, I'm the type of person that thinks in a way that's like, you're human, I'm human, we have skin, we have bones.
Yeah.
This whole nationality thing, that's like a piece of paper someone created one
And
day.
that's how it should be.
You know, like, how am I to know, like, if this, like, you can't look, like, we grew up being told, like, oh, like, Arabs are different because we're cleaner or this or that. It's like, how do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? Have you seen it?
Oh my God, I love that you said that because nobody talks about that. Like, you know, where they're like, oh, you shouldn't marry foreign because they're like
Dirty.
Not true.
What is that?
Sorry to all the foreigners. I swear, not everyone thinks like that. No, but that's the truth. Like,
I get comments on Instagram sometimes, like here and there, like on old posts or something.
What?
Like, yeah, like random accounts, like saying things like that. And I'm like, it makes me laugh because I'm like, I can respond, block and report.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I'm
what
not
we
even going to
do.
waste
Yeah.
my time.
you know, that's the thing that people think because they're Muslim, it's okay for them to be snobby about certain things to other people, which is the exact opposite
Of religion.
No, like my mom taught me growing up, like people think إن هم شعب الله المختار. You know, you were not chosen.
Yeah.
We're all human. You know, like there's no preference. Like the way you come into this world is the same. The way you leave is the same. There's no difference. And you don't know what happens later on. So you know what? Like yesterday I was watching a Netflix short documentary, Ramdas, very philosophical, and he said something that was like, you know, like this, like even death, like it's not scary because it's so beautiful. Like nothing, like we were taught to be scared and like act all holy and like, you know, apply religion in a commercial way. Faith is faith. Like, you know, like when you meet someone, when you meet a partner, a potential partner, it's because basically you have a potential partner that's coming into your life and you want to get married. I personally think you should look at like their values, their faith, what they believe in life. Like not, oh, do they have a family house? You know, because you can build.
How many
that.
cars do they have? No, but you know what? I'm just gonna say it because when I came to Kuwait, there's a lot of stereotypes I heard.
Yeah.
One of them was, oh, right now the trend is Kuwaiti girls marrying their personal trainers. I want you to talk about that.
Yes. Okay. So
Tell them.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Go off, queen.
Also, I don't understand why that's a negative
I know,
connotation.
like, who cares?
No.
Like, why are you mad, Kuwaiti men?
You know why they're mad?
No, you know why? Because for so many years, you guys had options. I say this to look at directly at Tariq. You guys were allowed to marry
Foreign girls.
and we weren't. And then the girls were like, "Screw this, we're
No,
doing
and the girls
it."
did
And
just
then
say
they're
that.
mad.
And they're gonna be fit. We're gonna get married to foreigners, and they're gonna be fitter than
no,
you.
it's not just that. Like it's like we have options, and you like they were like, we can marry foreigners. You can't. You know, I was actually told that in my last job. Where someone, like one of the guys actually said to me that I was working with, he was like, الرجال الكويتي can marry a foreigner because like عادي بالإسلام, but you know, a woman can't. I'm like, why? And he looks at me, he's like, لأن ما يصير. Like you know, like it's like he decided for us.
Well, guess what? He can convert.
No, and I remember
I'm like, so
Do you drop the mic?
mic drop. No, like I fully walked to like
Tariq was like, if she drops the mic,
It's so funny that my camera is right in front of Tariq, so I'm directing it. You're the representative for all straight Kuwaiti men.
I just realized you're looking at him. Sorry.
Sorry, keep going.
So no, like I went for a walk with my dad and I was like, Baba, imagine this guy at work told me, you know, like I'm not allowed to. And at the time, like this was like years before I met Anthony. My dad's like, of course he's gonna say that because like يحللون حق نفسهم ويحرمون حق غيرهم, and especially with women. Like, and to this day, by the way, I'm married. And whenever I go on like a TV interview or like I meet certain people in certain situations, like a lot of these like Arab men are like, oh, بس ما يصير خذ بنتنا. You know, or
which translates to it.
He took our daughter.
He took our daughter.
like he took one of our girls,
Yeah,
and
one of
like,
our girls.
and women do the same, by the way, huh? They're like, Yani when I was engaged, there were these older ladies at work that would say things like, Kil halibni, all these guys, and like you go for a foreigner, and I'm like, and I would literally respond with, I left them for your daughters. You know, like more options, you know, like why do you have a problem with it?
Why do you need to limit yourself? Like if you're limiting yourself, why do you expect others to limit themselves as well if they're
No, and it's like there's an air of like that whole Kuwaiti girls are marrying their coaches. Okay, fair. When you look at a girl that married her coach, like technically I married my coach, yeah. But being that I was in that experience, I didn't marry my coach. That's not what it looks like to me. I married my life partner. I married someone that I see like everything with. I see this, like I remember telling you on the phone, my dad sat me down and he was like, okay, tell me everything. And I was so like nervous because my dad's someone that intimidated me growing up. Like he's this super strong man. And I told him everything. My mom's like, don't hold back. Be honest. Like this is the rest of your life.
Oh, your mom's such a Saggy queen. I love
she
her.
is. She really is.
It's okay, sweetie. Tell your father.
Yes. Don't worry about it.
She's probably told your dad everything.
She was probably like, if it all fails, just elope.
Yeah, like no, she
cover
was
for
like
you.
the moment she heard French, she's like, this is what I've been waiting for, you know? Like so I sit with my dad and he tells me everything you just said. Like he was like, oh, by the way, just keep in mind, you know, your kids can't have the citizenship. As long as you know all of this and you're okay with it, it doesn't matter. Because whatever life you guys build, wherever you go, he's like, you're going to build a life. And he's like, of all my kids, I know that you are the one person that I could throw in the middle of the sea and you'd make friends with the sharks. Aww. He's like, so I'm not worried about you.
See, parents, please trust your daughters. And even if they make a wrong decision, like, just be there.
They're human.
We're all lives. It's their mistakes to make. I think our parents try to compensate sometimes and they don't want us to make
and
mistakes.
And they think they're pushing us to do what's right, but it's right for you and what you think, and you are of a different time. So I think, yani, alhamdulillah, you were lucky in a sense where your parents are progressive.
Yeah. Like a lot of people ask me, like, did your parents fight you? And I'm like, no.
So then how did you introduce him to your parents?
So after my dad had that talk with me and we ironed everything out, he's like, okay, so I need to meet him first. Like, and Anthony being Anthony, he has a lot of Kuwaiti friends that have become his family in the years that he's been here, like 4 years prior to meeting me. So these friends and family have taught him a lot. Like everyone thinks that I taught him the Kuwaiti things. I did not, in fact, teach him anything. Not the Arabic, nothing. Like a lot of it was already him. He likes to learn languages. He likes to learn culture. And so he did his homework and he understood the assignment about meeting a Kuwaiti girl's dad. And he showed up and he brought chocolates and flowers.
What was he wearing?
He was wearing jeans and like a long sleeve shirt because it was winter. And my brother one of my brothers wore a puffy jacket to kind of like, you know, make him feel calmer.
Not
we're
cool.
The other three, my uncle, my dad, and my younger brother wore dishdashas. Yeah, but it was funny. We paid my younger brother to voice note it so that we can hear everything.
I'm sure he wasn't intimidated by anything.
No, he was.
He really?
He was. He was, but he was strong because we'd like listen by the door.
Stop.
And it was my aunt, my mom, my sister-in-law, and my sister. And I was so nervous because I was like, my dad's meeting potentially the person that I end up with for the rest of my life. And I'm listening and I could hear Anthony say to my dad's like, you know, so what kind of life are you going to give my daughter? You know, and Anthony's like, first of all, I have a lot of things to say. Like he was nervous, but he said, I have a lot of things to say. So I just kind of want to arrange it in my mind before I answer you. And he goes on this like discussion of, I know Hanouf is a very strong woman, mashallah, and she's not in need of a man.
He said mashallah?
Yeah.
Oh.
My aunt was so amused by that. She's like, he said mashallah.
Same sis, same.
So he was very, like he showed my dad that he understood who I am as a person. He's never going to take that away from me. He knows I have dreams. He knows I have goals. He knows I'm strong. And he just wants us to be strong together, and he's going to give me a generous life. He was like, I'll be honest, I can't give her, you know, the lavish, luxurious life, nor do I know that she wants that. She loves material things, but she's not materialistic. So we're going to have a generous, happy life, and that's what I can promise you. And my dad liked that. My dad wanted to make sure that he's not just gonna like put me on his back and take me to Corsica or like France.
Yeah.
So he was like, so one day you're gonna go back home? And Anthony's like, nope,
Home is here.
home is here.
Were you scared? Was any part of you like afraid that your dad would be like, no, you're not marrying this guy?
Yeah. What's going through your mind?
No. I think I was just like, I was nervous about talking to my dad and how that would go. But I also understood that my dad is a logical person. He
Yeah.
stood by me to go study alone in New York when I was 20. You know, like I know that he will first have a discussion before anything. And if he says no, he has a reasoning.
Yeah.
But the one person that did kind of falter and like was very nervous was my granddad. So my dad was like, listen, we're all good, but your granddad is skeptical. And I don't blame my granddad because it's like this Arab Kuwaiti logic
Yeah.
that's like, what if he just wants you for, you know, your Arab money? You know, like, not that that exists because like, what Arab money? You know, like, sure. But it's like, I get it. Like, you know, because you've heard of all these stories of bad marriages or like of Kuwaitis and non-Kuwaitis, in either case, men or women. So I sit with my granddad. He's like, why him? And this is like, I'd say the core essence of like this topic for me. He said, why him? And if I say no today, are you going to go through with it? And like my granddad's like a strong force. And I looked at him and me being strong. My dad was like, if he says no, then you say khalas inshallah. And I was like, sure. I was like, no,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. I'm going to go down with a fight. But I went in with an open mind. I talked to my granddad and he looked at me and he was like, why? So I looked at him and I was like, you know that feeling you had for my grandmother when you would like drive your car as she walked home to make sure she gets home? That's him. He makes sure I'm well fed. He makes sure I'm asleep at night. If I need anything in this country, he will knock on doors to make it happen. And I have never seen that from anyone else. So it's more of a, what does this person offer me in terms of life? And for me, it's actions. It's never been, oh, what does he have in material items? So he represented someone I can visualize my kids being like. You know, like there was a podcast online two questions you should ask yourself with a partner. First of all, if someone tells you, you are so like your partner, would you be offended or would you love it? For me, it's like if anyone tells me I'm like Anthony, I'm like, really? Like, because he's smart, he's loving, he's strong. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be told I resemble him.
Yeah.
And second question is, if you have a daughter and she meets someone like your partner, would you be happy? I would be over the moon because I'd like, people like him don't exist. And like, and I say this because when you look for a partner, Kuwaiti or not,
Yeah.
you look for someone that if you fight, you're not going to sleep upset. If you want certain dreams, they're going to stand by you and be like, I will do whatever to make those dreams happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be an Asian champion if this man wasn't with me. That's hands down, I would say that. He made everything possible to get me there. We put raising a family on the side to make a dream come true.
Yeah.
And
Is that
make
something
history.
you guys discussed before getting married?
Yeah.
Did you guys also discuss like roles? Because you know, like as Arabs, we have traditional roles.
Husband, breadwinner, woman raising kids.
So I would say like that's the cool thing about maybe him as a person, because we did discuss that, and the traditional thing here that I've seen with my siblings, like with my brother who's married, with cousins, with friends, they usually kind of have that idea, you know, like you're the breadwinner, you need to transfer money to your wife every month. Like there's like a set rule list, you know? And I didn't want that for myself. Like I didn't, like some years, you're going to have to be the one to pick up the pieces. And some years or months or days, that person's going to be the one to pick up the pieces. So when we got married, he was opening a gym. So it's like, that's like opening a business, starting something is like very tough. And a lot of women, which I don't blame women, to each their own, wouldn't want to go into that world knowing that, oh, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
But I was ready to struggle because I was like, we struggle together because I know God's going to give us something better.
Yeah.
Like I've learned through seeing the women in my family work hard, struggle with their husbands, that you get rewarded with health, with, you know, happiness. Like I would rather be happy and struggle than have all the money in the world and be miserable.
Yeah, of course.
So like status, all of that, like that's cool. But like at the end of the day, you want to laugh with your partner. You want to travel the world, even if it's like I laugh because prior to getting married, like I was like the jet setting business class girl. And now I'm like economy, but like I love it because I get to
in economy with my husband.
She's still jet setting.
I'm still jet setting,
but with her husband.
but like it's
in
cool.
economy.
Yeah.
He's picking up the luggage.
Oh, yeah.
No, and he's like, oh, like I have a shoulder to sleep on.
No.
You know, like it's
Who
fun.
wants business class when
When
you
you're-
are
when you're all
sitting
alone.
next to when you're
Actually,
all
everyone.
alone.
Everyone.
All alone in business class.
I was like, everyone
It's
wants
so
that.
wait. It's so lonely out there in cold business class. They have to give you a blanket. Sit in economy with your Corsican husband. His arm. What bed? His arm is the bed. You're lying on him.
Like he helped me get to the 47, so now I'm tiny. I feel it's like business and economy.
There you go.
Look at the positives. You know?
Exactly. It's
No, but
so-
it's like no matter where you go with this person, you're happy. And that's the thing. Like when people say, "Oh, you married your personal trainer," and you know, like
Your
Yes,
point
yes,
is your point. You could have married your banker.
Yeah, but obviously, like in any marriage, obviously communication is
So
key.
important.
And you both speak, like your common language is English,
yes,
and it's both your second language.
yes.
So how has that ever faced like a challenge or
Sometimes I wake up every day and I'm like, this is such a like limbo state in life. Like what's going on? Because I grew up reading in English, thinking in English, and like my Arabic was good, but it got even better after graduating, working in hukuma, you know, in government. And like I am very cultural and social, and like I'm the like "Hi خالتي شلونك عساك بخير لا." I know all, you know, the lingo and stuff. But he's the same. Like I see him like speaking in French in his voice notes. The thing is, I understand him, and he understands me. Funnily enough, like in this weird world that we're living in, we understand each other mostly, and we ask each other. Like that's what's cool. Like we ask each other, like, do you know what I'm saying? Okay, this part means this, and we try to learn. And then I got my sister's French teacher from school to teach me, like, revive my French.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like I try to talk, like whenever his grandfather calls, his mom calls. His mom doesn't speak any English.
Okay.
So when
Oh,
she
wow.
came to visit and when she came to the wedding in Italy, it was all me trying to speak French. And if I don't know how to speak French, I was like on Google Translate reading it, forcing myself to read it. And she would take me seriously, which I love about her. She wouldn't be like, ah, ha, ha, you know, like, you don't know how to speak
Yeah.
French. No, she was like, ah, yes.
Was
you know,
that
like,
the first time you met his family, or did you travel? Like, how did he introduce you to his family?
it was all on the phone.
Okay.
He did not, like, it was like FaceTime. He hadn't seen his dad in years, like 3 years, his mom in 3 years.
Because
And
of
so-
COVID, or
COVID, moving to Kuwait, his mom's scared of planes. His dad doesn't fly outside of France. And his parents...
his dad's the mob.
Yeah. His dad lives in...
Confirmed.
His dad lives in Cannes.
Oh, his dad's the rich mob.
His dad's an architect.
Architect.
Okay.
That's what they say.
About your husband and his family.
Imagine now all of Kuwait's like,
She married a mobster's son.
A rich
that's
mob.
why she's jacked. But he's like,
She's hiding the bodies.
Where is the body?
She can carry bodies.
Hanouf is the body.
I hid my old body, clearly, you know, like I buried her. But it's like, his parents are separated, so his dad's remarried in Cannes. His mom is in Corsica with his grandparents, or with his granddad. Rest in peace to his grandmother, who passed away a couple of years ago. And his cousins and everyone's in Corsica. And he, like, it was all on the phone, like FaceTime, whatnot. And then his mom flew out for the wedding, not the milcha. His dad flew out for the milcha. So for the wedding, and prior to the wedding, a couple of months prior, she was like, I want to visit Kuwait. She came in July of all months.
No.
Best, I swear to God, like, this is, now I understand where his heart comes from and his patience. That woman showed up in July and she's like, no, it's okay. Shows up to the gym with me. I'm like, I'm going to take 3 hours. She's like, it's okay. And she films every set.
She's used to it.
She films every set. She shows my parents. And I'm like, what an angel.
Your mom must have loved her. Did they communicate? Like, you know how moms just can communicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just, like, I feel like telepathy. You know,
Are
like,
they like besties right now?
yeah, they love each other and they message each other. I don't know how they message each other, but they message each other.
One is typing in Arabic, the other one's typing in French.
like it's all Google Translate, and like I love it. Okay.
They communicate through Google Translate.
Best, it's cool because like Anthony like says things like Zalga Playha, you know, like
What
is that?
Yeah,
How does
he knows. He knows
Zalga
things.
Playha means like
You know, like two birds, one stone.
Not Anthony knowing this and not me.
Okay, Anthony will probably teach you Arabic soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'll
personal
probably learn
trainer,
Arabic
teacher.
before I learn French, and that's scary for me.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of marrying outside of your culture, or like diversifying in marriage. And I feel like you kind of get the opportunity to create this like unique fusion of traditions and cultures.
I think it's really cool. Like I apply this to my friends as well. Like having friends that have, whether they're fully Kuwaiti or like I always loved, and I studied anthropology, like social anthropology with my media studies. I always loved sociocultural studies. And I loved making friends from all over the world because I was like, I want to visit my friend in China. I want to visit my friend in here. And to marry someone outside of my culture is amazing because it's like you can now create a little like ecosystem of your own, you know, your values, your morals, your like merge the two cultures.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds.
What did he teach you?
He taught me a lot of, okay, so he I'd say he taught me the reality, you know, how real foreigners are or non-Arabs are, like how like they go about their life, they don't think of, you know, let me pretend this, let me pretend that. Like he taught me to just be me in a world where like it was always very hard. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well,
unfortunately,
we're
that's
almost
our
out of
show.
time. But before we go, we need to ask you our last guest's question for you. And then we're going to need you to ask our future guest a question.
Okay.
If you were to get a tattoo, what would it be?
A whale.
Or your next tattoo. Do you have any
My
tattoos?
next, I
Your
have
next-
15.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
So your next
A
tattoo is going to be
whale?
a whale.
Why a whale?
They're so majestic and they're so wise and they're so calm.
She's such a Pisces moon.
There's
Unbelievable.
I swear it's giving
I didn't even think of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Majestic. It's a whale.
Majestic.
I love it. I love it. I never thought that deeply of whales. Me, not that deep.
I'll send you videos.
No, except Mia, just whenever I'm like anxious, she'll play whale sounds.
No, listen.
I
In
love
all
that.
realness, I love whale sounds.
That makes sense. No, by the way, if
My
you ask
Cancer
Anthony,
moon, the whale sounds.
if you ask Anthony the same question, he'll say orcas. He's obsessed with orcas.
He's her soulmate.
Tactical.
They're so
So tactical.
So my little mob boss bestie, I have to ask. We have to ask.
Yeah.
What's the next question for the guest?
Oh, this is so like
We
tough.
have 30 seconds.
Dun, 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 dun,
No pressure, champion.
Okay. If you could give your younger self any piece of advice or thank your younger self for anything, what would it be?
Oh,
Yeah.
write it down.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, that was our episode. We had so much fun with you,
I had
Hanouf.
the
Thank you
best
for
time.
spilling the tea. If you like this episode,
Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, send to your friends and family. If it's not a 5-star review, we don't care about it.
all right, you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.